hopping on one foot, or maybe juggling cats while riding the unicycle. Sounds ridiculous, right? But guess what? That's exactly what texting while driving is like. Your human brain only has the capacity to focus on one thing at a time. So when you're behind the wheel, give driving your undivided attention.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
You are watching and listening to the Wise Coffee Chat Show on WRMN 1410. Super excited to be here. Where are we at this morning? We are in Lisle. Did I say that correctly? Lisle, Illinois?
I know where Naperville is.
Okay. Well, we're in Lisle, Illinois. We're actually going to be interviewing Mr. Christopher Gandy. And I'm super excited to bring him on the air. But for right now, I have a co-host that is actually one of my students, you guys. So while we're here, I thought it would be fun to bring him on the air and kind of just share a little bit about his experience so far. He is currently a student at Illinois Media School.
I am.
And he graduated with a communications degree from the University of Alabama, right?
Yep.
And now that you are here, you're with me every Monday, helping on WRMN. So tell the listeners, how has your experience been so far?
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. My experience has been great. Jennifer is an amazing host. She has an amazing show, and I'm guessing the viewers are just absolutely fantastic. And, the experience is just amazing. We go to different places. I started off my first time with you going to the Puerto Rican bakery.
Oh, yes. Peruvian bakery. Yes.
So, I got to do everything. I was, doing the camera. I was running, computer and, doing everything all at once. And, it gave me that experience to just, continue the motion going forward. And I was, I really enjoyed it. And, just getting to experience different things every week, especially like the business summit, that was massive.
Yes.
It was just not just a blast, but just an amazing learning experience, how to do everything correctly, how to line everything up, how to get something into position when it's more of an open shot. So, and this is, more of an experience this is more than I've ever gotten out of here than I did in Alabama.
Oh, wow. So far you've been helping out on radio station shows. You've been doing podcasts. What else have you been doing?
I have my own show now called The Fifth Quarter. Shameless plug.
Go for it.
I help Alex with the ZX show. I also help, I go on Blow the Whistle every now and again. I travel with Jennifer here everywhere on every Monday. Our show.
We have you're gonna start a new show with Glenetta.
Well, yeah, so I'm gonna start. Sorry, Glenn. We're gonna start a new show with Glenetta, G&A, and I'm pumped. I'm getting so much experience out of this,
Good.
And I'm loving every moment of it.
I love that, and I think it's nice to always have students and just come and help out and support. So I definitely appreciate you coming and being with us every week on the show, right? Because it's a lot of fun doing the Wise Coffee Chat Show, right?
It is, absolutely.
So I'm sure the listeners are nosy. What's the most funniest thing that's happened so far working with me? It's okay. Put me on blast.
Well, we were testing the mics actually about 10 minutes earlier, and we were talking, and our cameraman Bilal over here was saying, "Hey, the sound is low," and we were like, "Okay, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on?" And turns out she just needed to flip the on switch.
Yeah. So. So if anyone knows me, I will make mistakes. And I was like, you know what, guys, it's all right. When you're in media, when you do radio, when you do TV, when you do anything related to podcasting, anything with tech, there's always going to be difficulties.
Absolutely.
Always.
I give her a hard time too.
Yeah, no, it's fine. My students, I appreciate having my students here. My students, I'm sure they appreciate being here and getting this experience. So we're super excited, and I know that our guest will be here shortly, and then when he comes, we're gonna get to know him more. So, who's been your favorite guest so far on the show?
Honestly, of all the times that I've been here, I'd say everyone. And I know that sounds kind of like a cheesy answer, but overall, it's more the experience I'm getting, and more, I love hearing like the stories that are behind like some of these owners who own like coffee shops, restaurants. And then we had Martha on a couple of weeks ago, and hearing her story, how she turned her dad's company from
Negative
3,000
3,000.
to 15 million. It's
15.
just it's the hard work that the everyone has put in that just shows the dedication that they have for their job.
Yeah. And I think it's good experience to hear stories and hear people's experience. That's why I love doing the coffee chat show, because I want to hear, what did you learn? What have you done? How'd you get to where you're at? Why are you here? Right. And I
Mhm.
think for you guys too, as students, it helps a lot, right? It helps.
Yeah.
There's life lessons. Sometimes we have to learn from other people, right? We have to learn how they've made mistakes. What have they've done wrong, so
Yeah,
that we can try as much as possible avoid those mistakes,
absolutely.
even though sometimes it's you still got to go through your trenches, right?
Mhm.
So I really appreciate all that you're sharing. And then, what is the greatest thing that you've learned from working with me so far?
Everything.
Everything.
Yeah, literally everything. I mean, learning how to, turn on the mics, learning how to, you know, focus in on the, on the camera, because you got to zoom in, you got to get it perfectly focused and then zoom right back out. Learn how to have everything perfectly, framed, doing tests. I mean, it's, there's a lot more that goes into it that maybe some people don't realize.
Yeah, there is a lot. People don't realize how much work it takes to put this together, get the logistics going, finding the guests, putting the production together, having the team, having the equipment, having the audience. I think a lot of people don't realize what it takes to run a show. And this is where we've hit our 200th episode. I've been doing this since COVID time. And WRMN, back at the station, they were so gracious to allow me to bring it to their station. Yeah, yes. And so remember, I was a student just like you guys, right? At one point. And I just kind of said, I was talking to a student, and when we were talking, I said, you have to kind of make your own name. You have to set the table for yourself. If no one gives you an opportunity, you got to make the opportunities happen, right?
Exactly.
And then from there, people will see like the grit and how tenacious you are and how you don't give up. And then people will notice, like, okay, people want to help when they see you hustle.
Exactly. And, it is that hard work that shows people, okay, he's willing to, make the sacrifices and go the distance, literally and figuratively, because, it's like an hour out from where I live personally. So, and, just the experience again is, I come out here to help, but also, get even more experience, so that it helps me down the road.
Yeah. Adam, what are your goals for the next, once you finish Illinois Media School, what are you trying to do?
Going to sports.
Sports, that's your thing?
Mhm.
No, I know you love this. You're going to love this interview.
Oh, I know. Yeah, no, I'm actually doing was it live camera for the University of Chicago. They are a Division III school.
Oh, nice.
This is going to be my second football game I'm going to do. I've done 2 men's soccer game, and potentially going into the playoffs. We'll see.
Very nice. Very nice. So I definitely think that I love the fact that I have students here and supporters here and everyone's watching. And I know that we're excited to bring, Christopher, who's going to be our guest on the show. But I really appreciate you being so dedicated and coming every week and showing up to events, and you're always willing to help. So that just makes it's exciting for me as an instructor to see students, and I'm sure anyone that has ever taught, like, students actually learning, right? Students actually implementing what you're teaching them, right? And that I love it. That's why I think deep down that's why I love being a teacher. That's why I love being a coach, right?
And I appreciate you, having me out. Like, it's just all the experiences, being in different places. Again, getting the experiences behind the camera, in front of the camera, even going live right now. It helps me just that much more.
Nice, nice. I definitely think that is great. So we are going to take a quick break, because I know that our guest is here, and we'll bring him on set. So stay tuned.
If you turned 65 recently like me, it's important you find a Medicare Advantage plan that gives you the coverage you're looking for. But finding one can be difficult. The best thing I did, and I suggest you do the same, is call a licensed insurance agent and let them walk you through your Medicare Advantage plan options. There are so many benefits you have access to, so make the call now and let the representatives explain everything to you. Our licensed insurance agents can offer you a variety of Medicare Advantage plans. Plus, the call is free, the information is free, and there's no obligation to enroll. We're here to make it easy for you to select a Medicare Advantage plan that may work for your needs. Finding a Medicare Advantage plan can be easy if you do what I did. Make a quick call right now to learn more. Thank you.
800-433-3082. 800-433-3082. 800-433-3082. That's 800-433-3082.
Looking for expert care in orthopedic or spine surgery? Prime Healthcare's St. Joseph Hospital in Elgin is proud to offer top programs to our region. With a robust line of treatment options, St. Joseph Hospital specializes in minimally invasive procedures along with an advanced imaging suite to assist with orthopedic and back surgeries. Recognized by U.S. News and World Report as a high performer across multiple surgery types and home to highly trained expert healthcare professionals, St. Joseph Hospital is here for your every surgical need.
Nobody had to tell your grandparents not to drive while using their typewriters. Why should it be any different for us kids and our cell phones? Distracted driving was the cause of more than 3,000 deaths in 2022. Come on, we're smarter than this. Let's put down the phones and focus on the roads. Drive safe, everybody.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Most people out here think that taking care of one another is important. And most people would step up for a neighbor going through a tough time. Most people around here help out friends and family when they need it. But the funny thing is, most of us won't look for help when we need it. If you're struggling with mental health, you should know that there are resources out there that can help. And it's okay to talk about it if you need to. One place to get started with information is loveyourmindtoday.org. Loveyourmindtoday.org offers a range of guides, instructions, and insights for dealing with difficult situations or getting through a tough time. If you're struggling with mental health, get the help you need, because most people out here really care. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
All right, we are live. You are watching and listening to the Wise Coffee Chat Show on WRMN 1410, and we are super excited to have Christopher here with us on the mic, on the show. How are you, sir?
Good.
Good.
Dealing with a little bit of traffic.
Hey.
That's okay. This is Chicago.
This is Chicago. We're used to that. We're used to that.
Midwest.
So I know I'm excited. I know the students are excited to have you here and learn about your story and how you became this massive guru, right? We saw you at the Business Summit a couple of weeks ago at the Accelerator at the Matrix Club, and you did a great job on stage. So take us back. How you're in the finance world, right?
I am.
And you help people retire and live the lifestyle that they desire, correct?
Yes.
But before that, you also were a basketball player, correct?
That is what I did for a living for a small period of time. Yes.
Nice. So take us back. Like, what made you go into the from basketball to the finances?
Well, most people don't realize that, in sports that basketball for sports is a dream with a deadline. So eventually it has to come to a close.
Yes.
That's why we don't see 50 and 60-year-old basketball and professional athletes. And so the next chapter of your life needs to be something that is meaningful and purposeful for yourself and your family.
Mm-hmm.
And most athletes have to figure out what's going to give them the juice, right? What's going to give them the excitement, the same excitement that it did in sports. And for me, it was numbers and the idea of building something that was significant and impactful in my community. And so I sought out to try to do that.
Nice. And you went to UIC, correct?
No.
Or UFC? Oh my God! Then you
went to U of I,
U-
Champaign, Illinois, the orange and blue.
Don't beat me up. Don't beat me
I went to the orange and blue, ILL.
I'm sorry. I went to UIC. So
It's okay. We beat y'all a couple times.
okay.
Every
Okay.
year. It's okay,
I'm
though.
sure. I don't know. I don't know
Okay.
too much about
Don't
the
worry about it.
Flames. All right. I was just a student there. Okay.
It's okay.
So you also played college basketball, and you went for a communications degree, correct?
I did. So I went to University of Illinois with the idea that I wanted to be an astronomer. I wanted to read the stars and figure out what to do with the clouds, and I wanted to be a weatherman. And then shortly after that, I got a hunch that I wanted to fly jet airplanes, and that was always my dream, is to fly, the F-15 jets, until they told me I was too big because they're pre-made. So if you're over 6'2", you're not flying the jets.
Oh wow.
You can be in one of the bomber pilots or something like that, but you're not actually flying the jets.
Mhm.
So, I said, okay, well, maybe this basketball thing will work out.
Okay.
So, why not? So I went into, and all jokes aside, it was the idea of sports was a ticket out of a area in which I could change my life, and I used it as far as I could take it, and that opened opportunities for me to be able to explore those other places, to be able to explore. When you're a little kid, you're 5 years old, you dream about, I want to be in the stars somewhere, or I want to fly airplanes, and I wanted to pursue all those things. So there's nothing really holding me back, and basketball provided a ticket for me to be able to do that at a world-class college at the time, and basketball just made sense.
Yeah, it made sense. And I know that when we talked briefly last time and we went live on the social media channels, you were raised in Kankakee, Illinois, correct?
I was raised in Kankakee, Illinois. Yes.
Kankakee, Illinois. So was basketball your thing growing up also at that time?
No, baseball.
Baseball was
I
your
had a
thing.
scholarship to go play baseball at
Really?
a smaller school, but baseball was my first love. It's quite frankly, kind of still is, because I didn't want to go down the path that people thought I should go down just because you're tall, right? Because you're tall, you should go down the path and play basketball. I'm like,
Mhm.
no. My uncles played basketball, and they played in a junior college, and they were pretty good.
Mhm.
And I wanted to figure out, I wanted a different path. I've
Mhm.
always been one to challenge the status quo in whatever I do and wherever I'm at. So I wanted to be able to do that with basketball. So eventually, basketball chose me.
Basketball chose you. I love
I grew
that.
7 inches in one summer.
Oh wow.
It was like, are you going to keep playing baseball? I said, I'm going to play baseball. Maybe I'll try this basketball thing. And they said, just give it a try. And the
Yeah.
first couple years, I wasn't. I did that in grade school. I wasn't very good. And so, if your listeners are listening, or students are listening, or anyone's listening, is never give up on what you believe in yourself, because at the end of the day, if you believe it, you can manifest it, you can create it. And so at first, when we first started, I sat on the end of the bench of the B team. And if you know what the B team is, in 7th grade, they don't cut anybody. They either put you on the A team where they play, and the B team where you just run around and throw the ball wherever. I was on the B team, and I didn't even play on the B team. So, and it was what it was. Over that next summer, I was like, okay, I can't let these kids keep making fun of me and that type of thing. So let me go learn how to play this game. And they were taller than me. There's a bunch of them were taller than me. I wasn't the biggest kid on the team, but I was fairly athletic, and so I got a chance to learn how to play the game. And then by my 8th grade year, it was clear that I was going to be better than them.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
then after that, it really became that the gap became larger as I went on to high school. And when I went to high school as a freshman, I was playing on varsity, so it was a clear gap between the kids that I had, quote unquote, they had teased me, made fun of me. You can't play. You're not very good, because I wasn't. but I just took it on myself to believe in myself and to believe in my dream of, you know what, I can do anything. I can create anything. The opportunity is here, and why not now? Why not me?
So as a kid, did you ever see yourself? You didn't see yourself playing for the NBA at all, then, right? From the
Not
sound,
even in college.
you didn't even think you were going to be
No.
playing for the Bulls or the Spurs, or that was just not. And how did that land on your lap? The basketball
Really,
chose you. You said.
it was a blessing. I mean, I looked at it every day. I get a chance to wake up and play a kid's game. I get paid to do it. It's a great thing. I get an education to do it. It's a great thing. So
Yeah.
it was a dream, and there was a key to get there. So through college, I was always really a student athlete. So I didn't play around with the academic part of it. I actually did what I was supposed to do, and so I was done. I had graduated by the time I was a senior, and I was taking some grad school courses. So I was done with my degree by then, and I thought I was done. But my
Mhm.
junior and senior year, um, I really got an opportunity with a new coach to go out and show what I can do. And I mean, I had 4 years at the University of Illinois, 5 because I redshirted, but I really got a chance to kind of play into a new system my last year. And then my junior year kind of came along, and then my senior year was people were like, "Is that the same player?" And it was just in a different system.
Oh,
So
wow.
that then allowed for people to say, "Oh, you know what? We'll take a look at him." And then so I got invited to a pre-draft camp, and then after the pre-draft camp, they liked me. I got a chance to work out with a bunch of teams, and then I remember I was sitting there watching the drafts. I'm like, maybe I get drafted. You know, I played against some of these players that have in the top, the top 50. I might get a shot. I was watching the draft, but not really watching for my name. I said maybe they'll call my name in the second round because I hired an agent. The agent goes, if they call your name, it's going to be somewhere in the second round. That's what we're thinking, somewhere around 57 or 58. I was like, okay, that's around. Okay, whatever. Just give me an opportunity. That's it.
Mhm.
And so they didn't call my name. So I'm like, okay, bet I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna go do. In a couple weeks. I'm good with it. I was comfortable. I had made the decision that if basketball continued, great. If it didn't, so be it. I still get a chance to play. And my agent called me literally. By the way, the last pick of the draft that day was a guy by the name of Chris, like Gaffney or something.
Okay.
So the last pick, or the last two picks, they go like somebody picks Christopher because they elongated Chris Gaffney from. I'm like, what? Like I'm thinking they're going to say Gandy, and actually my friends got really excited because they thought it was going to be me too, but it wasn't. But shortly after that, literally within 30 minutes, my agent called me. He goes, "You're going to Chicago."
Oh, wow.
He goes, "Chicago has seen you play." We played, by the way. Illinois played at the United Center. I played 4 times at the United Center. We played against UIC, so we played in Chicago a bunch of times. And so
Yeah.
I got a chance to play, and a lot of the teams they get a chance to watch. So they were like, they like you. They've liked you for a while, and they want you to come work out there. So I drove up to Northbrook, and that began the next chapter.
So how proud were you to be like Kankakee, born and raised in Illinois, now playing for the Bulls? What was going on during that time?
Well, I was starstruck. I mean, they had all the good players at that time. I mean, I just wanted to go play with them. Right? I mean, you think about a kid, you were like, I'm getting a chance to play with like the Michael Jordan. I'm getting a chance to play with this. I'm getting a chance to play with this.
Well, we'll be right back. This is getting good, this conversation, so don't touch that dial. And you're watching WRBN 1410.
I'm Trey Westerberg on 1410 WRMN Elgin, proudly serving the Fox River Valley. This update brought to you by Rain X, America's #1 wiper blade. A Glen Ellen woman, Irina Bogoslavska, faces federal wire fraud charges for allegedly defrauding a retail company of over $900,000 through online return schemes between October 2023 and October 2024. Prosecutors say she used aliases, fake SKUs, multiple credit cards, and different addresses to return items, sometimes repeatedly or claiming they were lost in the mail to obtain refunds. Authorities also allege she exploited gift cards to purchase and return items for additional refunds. A search of her home uncovered hundreds of items, thousands in checks and cash, and more than 600 gift cards linked to the scheme. Target announced Thursday that it will cut about 1,800 corporate jobs to simplify operations and speed up decision-making as it works to regain customers. The incoming CEO told employees the move aims to reduce organizational complexity that has slowed progress. The Elgin City Council unanimously gave preliminary approval to allow DACA recipients to be hired as firefighters and paramedics, closing a gap that previously excluded them from these roles. The city already employs DACA recipients, including 3 police officers, and does not require U.S. citizenship for any city job, only legal work authorization. Council members and the fire department emphasized that the move would expand opportunities, boost diversity, and help address staffing shortages. Fire Chief Rob Kagan and the Firefighters Union expressed full support, noting the policy aligns with similar nationwide trends in public safety hiring. A 20-year-old man and his mother helped subdue a 19-year-old man who stabbed the son outside of a Chick-fil-A in Oswego hours after the suspect killed a delivery driver inside the restaurant. Police say Darrell Lee Jr. broke into the restaurant early Wednesday, attacking delivery driver 52-year-old Tracy Land, who died at the scene. Later, Lee stabbed the maintenance worker outside, but the victim and his mother overpowered him. Lee now faces multiple charges, including first-degree murder, attempted murder, and armed robbery, and is in custody awaiting court. I'm Trey Westerberg on 1410 WRMN Elgin, proudly serving the Fox River Valley.
Hey, at Total Wine & More, you'll love what you find this Halloween.
Me thirsty.
Oh, hey, Frankenstein. Did you enjoy that Cabernet?
Oh, good. What margarita?
Well, all the villagers are raving about this tequila.
Ooh.
And we have it at the lowest price in town.
Economical.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to handle the busy holiday season, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
When disaster strikes, flood or fire, every second counts. At Emergency Construction Group, they specialize in immediate response and same-day service for any residential, commercial, or industrial emergency across the Chicagoland area. With over 30 years of experience, they've got the expertise, manpower, and equipment to handle any size loss fast. They follow strict IICRC guidelines to restore your property the right way, the first time. Their team values transparency, constant communication, and strong ethical standards because your peace of mind matters. Licensed, bonded, and insured, they're here for you 24/7, 365 days a year. Call 855-4ECG now. That's 855-432-4669. Or visit their website at emergencyconstructiongroup.com and let Emergency Construction Group put your life back together one step at a time. That's Emergency Construction Group. Your satisfaction is their passion.
This is Sarah Silver with your Fox Valley forecast, brought to you by Rain-X, America's #1 wiper blade. Today, sunny with a high near 59, temperatures falling to around 56 in the afternoon, and breezy conditions. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 40. Tomorrow, sunny with a high near 56 and windy conditions with gusts up to 25 miles per hour. Currently, it is 54 and partly cloudy. I'm Sarah Silver on the Talk of the Town, WRMN.
We know exactly what you're not thinking about right now. Wiper blades. But now that you are, take a moment to think about how Rain-X is the #1 brand of wiper blades in America. Why? Because Rain-X thinks about wiper blades all the time. We obsess, so you don't have to. Simply install our blades and then think about literally anything else. So choose Rain-X, America's #1 wiper blades, and then go back to not thinking about wiper blades. Rain-X, outsmart the elements.
Okay, we are back, you guys. You are listening to the Wise Coffee Chat Show on WRMM 1410 AM. You could go to WRMM1410.com to learn more about the station and all the other shows that are there. But we are continuing the conversation with Mr. Christopher here. Chris, you were sharing with us, how you were so excited because you were playing with, all the big players. You're from Kankakee, Illinois, right? And then you're playing for the Bulls. So you were just sharing like your emotions. So tell us a little bit about that experience.
Well, did you give me some coffee? You brought some coffee. This is supposed to be coffee. I don't understand. Like, this is
your
I'm just kidding.
secretary gave you the
It's
coffee.
okay. It's okay. So being a part of the Bulls organization is anyone's dream. If you go back and look at historically some of the best teams to ever play, and every day I got a chance to wake up and compete with the best ever to play the games, especially as a team. So I knew that was a good place. It didn't mean that I was going to stick there, but it was a great place to start.
Sure. So I know with the have you seen the documentary The Last Dance? I know it was like a big team effort, right? And I know the heat was on everybody to be the best. So did you feel that pressure from everybody?
Who is he?
Michael and
that guy.
even the coach, right? Like in the documentary, it was like everyone felt the same pressure because it was like you guys all had to be great.
Yeah. But most people don't realize that the people they play against and compete against every day, you don't hear a whole lot about. Those are us. Those are the other guys. See, they don't practice against each other. That's not how it works.
Okay.
So there's somewhere between 12 and 15, probably 15 to 20 people on the team. So there as a team, they're playing against. And so you're essentially playing an NBA game every single day. And so they have to actually fuel those guys. And you see people sitting behind the bench and they're dressed all nice.
Yeah.
Well, those are guys that are actually on the team. But there's
Mhm.
only so many people on what they call the active roster.
Sure.
And so the active roster will carry 12 to 13, sometimes 11. And the active roster, we would float on and off the active roster, probably 8 to 10 of us. But it was a great opportunity. I got a chance to play and be in the locker room with some of the great ones.
Yeah, that sounds fun and exciting, and to come from, I can only imagine, the feelings that, you're going through and the motions. And then, so now you did the NBA 97, right? It was the Bulls at 97.
97, I was with Chicago until the playoffs, and then I got cut or whatever for all practical purposes, just to whittle down the roster. And then that summer I went to San Antonio and worked out with them. And then later in the year I worked out, that following year I worked out with the Clippers in LA.
And which was your favorite experience? Like a moment in time, what was your all-time favorite moment during that entire part of your career?
Well, I can't mention a lot of those on.
Oh, okay. Wait. This like okay. Wait. This is like okay.
But no,
I mean, imagine
there were things that there were games that were games played, in practice.
Sure.
That really, we really enjoyed, because at the end of the day, you're getting picked. So they would divide the starters up and they had to pick teams, right? So you're getting a chance to play with Jordan. You're getting a chance to play with Pippen. You're getting a chance to play with Curry. You're getting a chance to actually play with them, not just play against them. And that was great. There was just a couple times. One time I was, I got in the steal, was wide open, and I got the ball from one of the key players, number 23, and ball bounced out of my hands and went out of bounds, and it was what they call a gimme. And so running back down the court, he's yelling at me, "Rook, Rook, Rook, Rook," and I'm ignoring him. I don't know what you're talking about, So I'm gonna run back. I'm gonna play defense. Hopefully, I can make it up. And I just remember him saying, "Listen," he goes, "if I pass you the ball again," he goes, "you better catch it, or else." He said some other things, but he said,
"Oh my goodness,
you better catch the ball, or else." So next time, I jumped in front of the pass. Jumped in front. It's gonna hit my body if it goes out of bounds. But it was it's a much more colorful story if we're not on the air
Oh,
because there
okay.
was some
Okay, we'll talk about it.
nice words that
Word.
you can't say on the on air, but know that it reverberated through the gym because we would have won the game if I would have just caught the ball. But I got excited and I was going too
But the
fast.
pressure's got to be real.
It is, but it was in sports. Sometimes you have to slow down to go fast. And again, I was super excited because I'm like, I'm getting a breakaway. I'm gonna get a chance to dunk the ball. I'm gonna show everybody, boom, we're gonna finish the game. And I just remember, and so I was already the ball was coming, and I was already gone when I should have been there to catch the ball. So I was just just excited, just young. I mean, that
Yeah,
happens.
that's a great story, though, and some great insight, right? That we get to kind of hear. So now, with what you're doing the finances, right? So, what's the name of the company?
So the Legacy Wealth Group, you can find it online, tlwglllc.com.
So, like you said, after being a basketball player, you had to find something else, right? Another vehicle to continue what you're doing. Was the transition difficult from going from professional basketball into the financial world for you, or was it, how was that transition?
Well, the transition was threefold. The first transition I had to make was being comfortable with not playing sports any longer for a career. And that's hard to do for a lot of athletes, but I had kept it in perspective in college because I never thought I was going to be playing a kid's game and making money doing it. So, at any point it came to an end, I was ready for it. So there was that part. And then there was the part about, well, what are you going to do that gives you that drive, that excitement, that you had when you came out of the locker room and 30,000 people were calling you, was cheering, and you could smell the popcorn and you could smell the food, and people were, and you hear the band and the cheerleaders, so all that, there is a rush that comes, and there's an adrenaline rush that it gives you. I mean, I can't describe it to you, but if you walk out of a locker room and like you come out and they have the fireworks doing all the crazy things and the lights are going and they're saying your name, all those things, there's a rush there. They call it a high, and it's a dopamine high.
Dopamine hit.
And it comes and it stays for a period of time. And so a lot of athletes have trouble after the game has left them figuring out how to get that same high or dopamine high. And so that's why you see a lot of athletes fall off, or they played for a long period of time, you don't hear from them anymore, or their next career you hear from them but they're not doing equivalent to what I call equivalent to what they were doing in the world at that particular time. They're not making the money that they were making, so they get into a depression, a deep depression. That didn't happen with me because I always kept it in perspective.
Oh, wow.
And then the last piece really was trying to figure out where I can actually be popular and do something effective to help myself and my community was super important to me. Is, the legacy in our title of our name was very intentional. The idea was, let's leave the world a little better than we found it.
Nice.
Because at the end of the day, we know when we were born, we don't know when we're going to leave, but whatever we leave in between it could be our legacy. So that's where it came from. And we kind of built it around financial stewardship, understanding money, helping people protect their assets, grow their assets, and really live their best life of themselves.
Okay, so with all of that, that you're doing now, helping people, I'm sure you've seen it, right? A lot of people are like a check away from being homeless, right? Like you see I mean, I'm sure that financial literacy isn't very common. What are your thoughts on that? Since you're trying to give back and you're involved in the community, what are your thoughts revolved around that?
I don't know how long we got, but so well, you ask a very complicated question because one thing I didn't mention is I was a numbers nerd in school. I was big on numbers, so I tested out of math my second year in college. I was done, like with the most advanced math. Even in high school, I was done with math. Math has always been something, and in sports, what most people don't realize, basketball is played in angles. it's really numbers. Like if you look at the statistical data, you can start to realize how some people become successful and how some people don't. Right? You shoot from 12 different places on the floor, you're not going to be as successful if you shoot from 2, and you're more efficient at that space because of just the law of numbers. And so sports for me, I can play it in numbers in my head. Well, at the end of the day, I do the same thing now. And so you ask a long question. I take that route to answer your question is that I understand numbers beyond numbers. Like John, it's the numbers. I understand them in a way where I can do insane math and make it make sense for people. They're like, how did you calculate that fast? And I'm like, I don't know. I just kind of see numbers a little bit different than most. And I think there's a part of this that is twofold. I think people need to take ownership of where they are, and whether it's good or bad. You mentioned people that are one check away from that. You know why that is because we lived over our means. If you think about it, like people have this idea of I want more. But again, until I can afford it, I'm gonna pretend that I actually got it because we live in that world where people's identity is based on what they have, and people need to check that at the door because that's nothing more than their ego talking, and they need to figure out, okay, if I make 30,000 a year, I'm going to live like I make 25. If I make $50,000, I'm going to live like I make 45. Like that kind of mentality. Because as soon as someone gets a raise, they could be living paycheck to paycheck. They get a raise, they still live in paycheck to paycheck. How does that work? Right. And so, that narrative is you pay yourself first. That is the number one rule, no matter what happens. And then everything else will fall in line. But if you wait to the end of the month, too much money at the end of the month is good. Too much month at the end of the money is bad. People can write that down.
Wow.
Right? So
Yeah.
that's one of those things where, you pay yourself first. I mean, Uncle Sam gets paid first. And when you get your check, you see that money's gone, right? They didn't ask you. They didn't come to you and say, hey, by the way, you mind if we take some money out of your check? No, that's not how it works, right? They get paid first. So why don't you pay yourself first? Because you don't pay yourself first, nobody else will. And then the second thing is we really have to understand, you mentioned financial literacy. I'm working with a couple of congressmen right now. I was just in DC a couple weeks ago, and I challenged them on define financial literacy for me.
Okay.
And they said, well, it's education on finances. I said, no, it's not. I said, financial literacy has been a term that we have used in a way, and people now say everything's financial literacy. See, I don't think it's that. I think it's education. I think it's financial education on the basics, understanding debt, understanding the use of money, understanding how credit and compound interest works, the simple fundamentals. So I go back to sports. In sports, you learn how to dribble, pass, and shoot first. You don't learn the behind the back. You don't learn hook shots. You don't learn how to dunk the basketball. It's not what you do first. You learn the fundamentals. A lot of people never learn the fundamentals of money. And so I pride ourselves on teaching people, well, unteaching them bad habits, right? But teaching them the fundamentals of money, because you cannot build significant wealth for yourself or anybody else unless you learn the fundamentals. And some people are out there doing crypto, doing all this other crazy stuff, and they don't even know how to dribble yet. It's like, you got to learn how to the basics.
Yeah.
So we're teaching people some advanced things, but if they don't know the principles, the basics, we got to go back to square one.
Wow. So, if someone was listening, they're like, "Oh, I want to learn more." What would be like? Do you do an assessment, or what's like? How do you start working with somebody?
So someone would go to our website or call in and say, hey, I want to talk to that Gandy guy, the guy, the Bulls guy. And then what we would do is we'd set up an initial meeting. It's about 45 minutes where we ask you about your goals, dreams, what's important and why it's important. And then from there, we do an assessment to see where there's opportunity, where there's gaps, where there's opportunity to just enhance. Everybody says, I got somebody, or I'm doing this, I'm doing this. Well, then there's no reason not to make sure that it's not optimal, right? And so if we're not trying to improve, we're going backwards. And so everybody, I don't care who you are, needs to try to improve their position, because if we leave it up to the government, in the environment we're in, if we leave it up to the government to figure it out, we're going to be last, right? So we've got to do it differently. And that is my push. The idea of this organization is how many lives can we touch through education, empowerment, enriching lives, and helping them execute their dreams and their goals. Like, how do we do that? So those are our E's that we really focus on in our platform.
So those are execution, right? So then when you are working with someone, right? You said your biggest thing is you want them to come in, you want to teach them the fundamentals, right? Um, and then from there, then what, right? Like, are there other platforms or other ways that you help people? Because I know you do public speaking, right? You do, you do other things. You have a not for profit, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we have the Legacy Collective, right? So every dollar we make in our organization, we give back 10 cents back to the communities in which we serve. And so that's a big thing for us as we continue to move forward. Is you know, they say, there's a quote by Martin Luther King: "We're all bound together through one mutual strand of destiny. I can't progress unless my brothers and sisters progress." So that same concept is that I can't look across the street and see someone struggling, and I'm sitting over here on a hill like a king. That doesn't make sense
Mm.
if I see myself in them. So, some of that is just understanding that you have to uplift other people along the way, or else you're going to get there. And let me explain this to people: all kings have been overthrown. I don't care who they are.
All kings have been
And so if you go
overthrown.
back in
Wow.
history, all kings have been overthrown. You go back and look at the dynasties and all the, King Henry and all those guys, they all get overthrown because there's somebody else that they didn't help out, or somebody that sees a vendetta against them because they're like, well, you're up there, I'm down here, and I can't see myself on your level. So my goal is that to even the playing field for people, to try our best through Legacy Collective, giving back to the community, teaching people as much as we possibly can. Main Street becomes Wall Street, helping them understand that you can make a difference. Like, everybody can make a huge difference if they just are intentional with what they do.
So since we're here and I have students here, what would be like one of your first main tip to have? You know how like you listen to other like these gurus and they're like have $1,000 in savings. I forget what's his name, right? I think it's one of I can't even think right now. But like they all have little tips, right? What's like one of your biggest tips that you would tell, especially to like young people with their finances?
My tip is simple. I don't got a whole lot of those things, but the one that I would tell every, matter if it's your students or not, is save a small percentage of every dollar you make. I don't care what you do. So if you make $1, put 25 cents aside. And you're like, that's not very big. It does not matter, right? It all moves, because you're either moving forward towards your objective or you're moving backwards. There is no in between. That's it. So if you think about it, I'm either going to move closer to my objective and what I want in life, or I'm going to move further away. And every decision you make dealing with money is either moving you closer or further away. And I think if people start to think about that, like, wait a minute, that Range Rover I always wanted to get, I'm gonna go ahead and get that, right? Is it moving you closer to your objective of being financially independent, or moving you further away, and now you're going to be dependent on somebody else or something else for your way you live? So if everybody saves, and everybody can do that, it doesn't matter if you make $25, it doesn't matter if you make it doesn't matter, right? You can always save. And let me put it like this: no one lives in a bubble, and so we all spend money on silly, dumb things that we shouldn't, regardless. I drive by Starbucks all the time and the line's always long. I drive by Dunkin' Donuts, the line's always long. I drive by places and I see things and I'm like, I wonder if they actually thought about not doing that. And that maybe you don't go to Starbucks every day. Maybe you go every 3 days. Maybe you go every 2
Once a week.
Yeah. So I think people are living on, but again, this is not that. I want people to have an experience when they have a conversation with us, is that experience is the best financial experience they've ever had. Whether we can help them or direct them or whatever, the idea of it is we've impacted their life in a positive way.
Wow, that's powerful, and I hope that the students here are taking notes as you're talking, right? So, what are the next things that are coming up for your organization? What are some future projects that you're working on, or some things that you got, going cooking, right now?
We always cooking. We always cooking something. So I am I am the incoming president for the National Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors in DC. So just like the AMA has the American Medical Association, where all the doctors have to have their credentialing and everything, we have a national committee for insurance and financial services. So everybody who's in financial services has to do continuing education and ethics and those things. That comes from my organization. That comes from the organization in which I volunteer for. So I've spent 20 years within the organization in different roles. And in 2026, I'll take over as the president of the association. So we have 30 some odd thousand members or something insane like that, with every company you can think of on our, in our bandwidth. And so it's a real responsibility for me, is because one, it's the first diverse person they've ever had since 1850.
Oh, wow.
And number two is that the time is now and the initiative is now for us to create new experiences around the world. And I think that if financial services dials it back and changes it a little bit, the way in which they engage audiences, I mean, I have a true core belief is that every community should have the opportunity to work with a financial advisor who can speak their language, right? And if we look at it, that's not how the distribution is right now. And so there's a void. So if some of your people out there, students or whatever, or people out there was like, man, I could do what that guy does, give us a call, because we are actually creating advisors, and we are putting them in different companies, and we are, we're providing career opportunities for that. So someone's like, I never saw myself as a financial advisor. They end up in our field and they do very well. Right. And some people, like we have people that come in that they came from being a PE coach. They come in and they're like, I'm great at this, right? And so you never know. No one ever goes to school for financial services, ends up financial services. It's kind of weird. They all end up in different things that leads them to financial services because they want to take control, or they want to be in control of their future. And because of that, they end up creating wealth that's well beyond their education level.
Wow, that is awesome. So what's the website again if they wanted to go and learn more about your services?
TLWGLLC.com.
That's awesome. And then, so any TED Talks coming up or any presentations that you're doing?
I am doing a presentation in Chicago for the National Medical Association. I'm doing a presentation in Miami in a couple weeks. I'm doing I'm all over the place. If you look at our social media, my social media, we're all over the place, because the most knowledgeable people, and to spread the word, if you've been given a gift, you can't just plant a seed in one location. You got to be able to be everywhere and do a whole lot of things. And my gift before was playing sports, right? And so how did I turn that? What did I do? I had to turn that gift into something different. Is I realized I had the ability to hold someone's attention. And so that's been a wonderful thing.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much, everyone. This is Jennifer Sanchez closing out the Wise Coffee Chat Show. You could go to wisealliancenetwork.com to learn more about me. And thank you so much, guys. So stay tuned. Some great shows today on WRMN 1410. Talk to you guys later. Bye.